potentially available in the mix zone for online. So first question to Warren from Murray, please.
Warren, could you just tell us why you didn't use your bench in that second half when it appeared the game was going against you a little bit?
Yeah, well, always those players were called out as cover. That was the case. You know, I know there's a lot being made about that in terms of, we made the decision to bring players in there for cover and protect as many of the Test 23 as we could. I mean, if we didn't have those players there tonight, then we probably would have had players on the bench for Saturday that may have had to been exposed. I mean, lost Robbie Henshaw, Dan Bigger went off with an HIA, so you potentially would have been exposing players from your Test 23 early on. So they're always brought in as cover. Well, I mean, I think so much was made about devaluing the jersey and all those bits and pieces, so we made a decision that we would just try and get through the game with as many as the 15 as we could.
Warren, you can probably guess what I'm going to ask you. In regards to Ian Henderson, what did you make of his performance? And despite playing 70 minutes, do you believe he can still be part of your Test squad?
He carried fantastically well. Big moment in the game, the yellow card. It's a penalty to us, which ends up being a penalty reversed and a yellow card, and that's the game really. It's okay, we've ended up drawing, but it's disappointing because you're in so much control of it, and we went from that period having 68% territory and possession to about 25%. So it was a massive swing in the game, and disappointing that we ended up with the yellow card, particularly when the referee had looked at it. He thought it was a penalty, and but he'd been asked to look at some different angles and stuff, and eventually made the decision to give it as a yellow card.
Did that change Henderson's hopes of a possible Test selection?
It's a bit too early to look at that. I mean, sometimes players are unlucky in doing that. He's probably disappointed with himself in terms of that, but look, he carried extremely well, and that was a big positive. I thought Courtney Laws carried well also in the first half. So, it's a position that we knew right from the start that we had a lot of strength in, and that with a number of positions as well in terms of there's a toss-up in terms of selection. So we'll meet tomorrow's coaches tomorrow evening and look at selecting the side before we announce it to the players on Thursday.
Warren, you mentioned that the lot was made about devaluing the jersey. Does that mean that it affected you and changed your plan, or were you all along just going to bring these players off the bench in the case of an injury?
Yeah, possibly. You may have been a little bit more positive about bringing those players on fresh and that, but so much was made of that. You kind of went, okay with it. I understand people's views and whatever, so you just you've got to take cognizance of that, and so we made a collective decision with the coaches that we would make them as injury replacements or as HIA replacements, which has happened in two of the occasions.
Ross,
please. Sorry, Warren, at the back here. Considering the Kano Conor Murray incident and what's been made of that, what were you thinking when you saw the up-tipping of Geordie Barrett, and had you told your players maybe to be a bit more careful about that stuff?
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
Well, I mean, considering what was being made this week of pointing out the All Blacks' ill-discipline, and now what you've seen from Henderson upending Geordie Barrett, had there been a message to the players to make sure that they didn't overstep the line as well?
No, we didn't speak about that. The stuff with Conor Murray was raised to me by the referees who had seen those incidents, so they were aware of it and just making sure that as a 9 he was protected. So that's. And I just felt that one situation with diving at his legs was a little bit dangerous, and that's all I was saying. I mean, it wasn't something I was hugely complaining about. I was just asking the referees make sure they look like protecting the 9s, and but they had raised that issue with me. With regard today, I don't think it was anything malicious in terms of Ian Henderson lifting him and that, he's lifted him and put him on his back. He wasn't trying to hurt him. If he was trying to hurt him, he would have really done a good job on that. So, and the officials have made the decision to give him a yellow card, and I fully accept the decision that has been made by those officials.
Johnny.
Warren, for the second time now, a newspaper here has drawn you up as a clown. I was just wondering what your thoughts on that were.
I haven't seen which newspaper was that?
It was the Herald.
I don't know what it was in reference to. Is that in reference to Michael Checker as well? Is it?
No, not this time. No.
Oh.
It was in reference to the row the other day with Hansen, following on from Hansen's desperate and predictable quotes.
I haven't read anything from Hansen's quote. The only thing I heard from was that he'd rung up a radio station, so I thought that was quite unusual for an international coach to ring up a radio station. So, look, I'm just worried about us. I'm not worried about what Steve Hansen's saying or what any newspaper draws me up. Just I hope it was a happy clown. That was all.
Is it disappointing though to have that done again?
Look, as a Kiwi, you'd like to think you'd come home and things would be a little bit more positive from one or two members of the media. That hasn't happened, so you can't let that get to you. You just got to take that on the chin and not be affected by it. There's obviously been one or two people have had quite a significant campaign against me personally, but that's kind of like water off a duck's back to me. So you got to concentrate on your own job and preparing yourself and not worrying about any specific individuals, but trying to be personal. So it's just part of professional sport, So I couldn't give a toss if that was happening.
Gentleman here on the left, please.
Barry Guy, Radio New Zealand. You talked about the sin bin late in the game, but you were set to put them away at half time. Were you a bit disappointed perhaps the way the second half started? Or the way the Hurricanes started, perhaps?
Yeah, look, in fairness to the Hurricanes, they were under pressure at half-time. There's always swings in games, and they've come out and probably the disappointing part, one aspect of our game today was our exit strategy. Even in the first half, we didn't exit as well as we could have. And to be honest, particularly in the second half, we haven't kicked enough. We've kicked 8 times in the second half, and at this level, you've got, particularly with a team like the Hurricanes who are coming very hard off the line, you've got to have the ability to turn them around. And when we did kick and compete in the air, we got rewards for it. And when we've just kicked over the top, we got rewards for that and a couple of kicks in behind. But to have 8 kicks in the second half against a team like that, I don't think the variation in our game was good enough in the second half. And obviously that yellow card was a pretty crucial moment as well. But in games, you're always going to have a team that comes back at you at some stage, particularly teams of this quality. And when they got the opportunity, they were very direct up front in their pick and go stuff, and they've ended up scoring 3 tries from that, really.
Mick.
Warren, do you feel as you did 7 days ago that you've been given real kind of cause for thought in terms of your test selection? You mentioned Laws and Henderson. Are they the 2 principal ones? Are there others?
Probably primarily those 2 guys had really strong games tonight to give us some real food for thought. I thought a couple of times in the game I thought Haskell carried well, and then CJ Stander carried well, and out wide we didn't. The back 3 didn't really get a huge number of opportunities. Tommy Seymour took a couple of his chances, and George North was a bit unlucky in that kick through. He's put a foot into touch, and that's kind of quite significant in the game in terms of it would have given us an even more comfortable margin at that point. I will have a look at the tape tonight, and like I said, we'll meet as coaches tomorrow to pick the second test team.
Rory.
Just quickly, Robbie Henshaw, have you an update on that?
He doesn't look great at the moment. He's in a bit of a sling with a shoulder, so I haven't had a full brief from the doctor, but I think there's a good chance his talk could be over.
And on Sunday you said you were looking, well, it sounded like you wanted a response from the players who played on Saturday. Are you starting to see that? Are you seeing that so far this week in training?
Yeah, they've been excellent this week. The guys that have trained, sort of the guys not involved in tonight's match, they had a tough training sessions this morning. A good players meeting again today. So I've been really happy with the response from those players that were involved on Saturday. I thought there were lots of good. It was a quality Test match. In fairness, the All Blacks played well, and I've tried to give them some credit. And in terms of how well they played, they were very physical. The periods of the game we've felt that we've played well, and we've stretched them and put them under some pressure and created some chances. Finished a couple, a few more opportunities that we didn't finish off, and it was a big step up in terms of the intensity and pressure that the All Blacks played the game at. I had a conversation with a referee yesterday who said to me, it was a big step up for him in terms of the pace and intensity that he's refereed either Beleda's Low Cup or in the Championship. So, that's the ability of the All Blacks to take Test match rugby to another level, and they did that on Saturday night, and our guys would have gained a lot from that and learned a lot from that experience. And again, big moments, 13-8 down, and we get a chance with sort of a 3-on-1 almost, or 3-on-2 if Ben Teo shifts that ball and it's 13-all or 15-13. It completely changes the complexion maybe for the last 20 minutes of the game. So have had a fantastic response from the players in the last couple of days, and they are well aware of what's coming up on Saturday.
Alex.
Warren, the fact that George North had to play the period at the centre, does that kind of affect his chances of getting back into that Test side?
He didn't have many opportunities on the wing. He's had one chance down the sideline. We've known that he was able to cover in the midfield, and it probably hasn't been the ideal situation for him. Not getting a chance to play 80 minutes on the wing to potentially put himself into consideration. We know what a quality player he is when he's fit. He's had a bit of a hamstring in the last few days. It's been a little bit tight, but he got through 80 minutes tonight, and again we'll have a look at potential combinations.
Gavin.
Warren. Warren, just setting aside the result tonight, I'm just wondering, have you seen enough from the players tonight and within training with the Test 23 that you have genuine belief that you can win the second Test?
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't trained together as a group. I mean, that's because you're preparing the team for tonight, and then the other team are training separately. So, I mean, the only time collectively in the week that we'll actually train together is on Thursday. So it's not the easiest preparation when you're preparing for a Test match when you haven't got a full squad of players to train with and train against. But I said the attitude of the guys and preparing for tonight's been outstanding, and Rory Bress has done a brilliant job in terms of leading them. They're gutted, they're disappointed that they know they let an opportunity slip in terms of winning the match and end up conceding to have a draw, and they're disappointed about that. And the other group of players that have had a couple of training sessions have been incredibly focused about and realising what a big challenge it is to play the All Blacks here on Saturday night. With the emotion and physicality that the All Blacks brought last week, we know we've got to be able to match that.
Just on Robbie Henshaw's injury, if it is tour ending, will you look to replace him, or have you enough from within?
Yeah, I think we've got enough cover within the squad at this stage.
Okay, thank you very much.
Cheers.